What's going on, guys? Devin here with Backcountry Exposure. Today we're going to take a look at the updated and new Fenix UC35 2.0. This is an update to the previous model of the UC35. This is brand new. So a couple things here to start out. First and foremost are that this is not a full review of this light. This is a simple overlook, an early look at this light. And Fenix did send this to me for review purposes, so I appreciate that opportunity to look at a new light, share it with you guys, and to do a comparison next to one of my favorite lights from Fenix, the PD35, and kind of talk about which is the better light. Now, one of the things that I want to point out about the UC35 in my short time of using it is just how impressed I am with it as a simple utilitarian flashlight. It is a 1000 lumen 18650 battery powered light, which makes it super versatile, super usable in like any kind of condition. And the thing that I really like about this light is the fact that it is simple. It doesn't have a lot of different type of modes and features to it, which is something that I do really like about the PD35 Tactical, which with this light, you've got two different operating modes. You've got a tactical mode, you've got an outdoor mode. But the UC35 2.0 is just simple in the fact that you have a momentary switch on the back, push to click to stay on, and then you've got this really nice metal button here that allows you to cycle through the various modes. The other cool thing about this button is the fact that it is a battery indicator, and it's going to tell you when you turn the light on what your battery level is at, which the PD35 Tactical does not give you that option. So let's go ahead and take a look at the body of the light here real quick, and then we'll dive into some of the specific specs about this. The body is made really well. You've got really nice knurling on here. The pocket clip is super strong. This is not a light that I would necessarily carry in my pocket because of how much space there is above the pocket clip, but they do include this nice belt lanyard to be able to carry that way, and we'll talk about that here a little bit more in a second. But overall, the build quality of this is really nice. You've got a really nice kind of like anti-roll system around the body here of the light, and then no kind of like tactical bezel on the front here by any means, but you've got a nice full glass lens here on the front. And again, like I said, 1000 lumens and a decent depth on this lens, so you're going to get a good amount of throw from this, which in your turbo mode, they say you're going to get 266 meters of total distance on your 1000 lumens, which is your turbo mode. So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about the various modes. Now I've got it on the moonlight, and this is something that I like about this light is the fact that you've got all of your modes accessible from one point, meaning that I don't have to do special clicks or holds or anything to get into the moonlight mode, which is not something that I necessarily like about other flashlights. But this light, moonlight, 1 lumen, this is going to run for 800 hours. Push the button here. So your low mode is going to be 50 lumens. That's going to run for about 28 hours. Your medium at 150 lumens, again, that's going to run for about 10 hours. Your high at 350 lumens, about a 4-hour runtime on that, which is a really good amount of light. 350 lumens really does give you a really nice, usable working amount of light. And by doing that lower lumen count as opposed to going to like 500 or 600 lumens, you get better run times out of that. And in this case, 4 hours is a long time to be able to have this light run in that high setting. And then on your turbo mode, in the sense that you would need 1000 lumens, that's going to run for an impressive amount of 2 hours and 15 minutes when you've got a full battery charge. If I push and hold the side button here, that is going to turn on a strobe. There is no SOS mode with this light. If I just push that again, it will turn off, and then tail switch to turn it off again, momentary on. And it does have a memory mode, but the momentary does not cycle through the various modes, which I really like. Now, a couple of the really important things to talk about with this light, specifically against the PD35. The PD35 Tactical does not have an external body USB charger. the UC35 2.0 does, which is really nice. So I like that ability to not have to take the battery out and to be able to charge that way. The only thing I have noticed that I don't really like about this is protecting that USB. It's kind of hard to get that rubber piece back in, but a little bit of work, you can get that in just fine. And the other thing about this is that I've noticed in reading about it and using it, as opposed to having like a timer of the amount of time on the turbo mode for it to then drop down to your high mode, it uses like a heat sensor, kind of like an intelligent protection. So once it gets to a certain heat temperature, it will cycle down to your high mode automatically, as opposed to doing it for a time period, which I like, because then if you're working in a colder condition, the light isn't going to heat up as fast, and so you're going to have that turbo mode on for a longer period of time. Now let's talk about the utilitarian aspect of this light specifically, because I think that's the most important aspect of this. With it being so simple in its function and its versatility, this is probably one of the better lights to just have for emergency situations, for everyday use, especially if you work in kind of the service industry. Now, I talked about that with the PD35 Tactical when I did the review on this light, but specifically because this is so simple and it's so easy to use, when you work in the service industry with that belt lanyard and everything, being able to work down in basements and crawl spaces or just dark places and have a really reliable, usable light that is going to last you a full workday, upwards of longer than a full week of work. This is going to be just a fantastic light for that kind of application. And it's got really good, easy grip to it, and using it with gloves and just all of the applications with it in the service industry, whether that be HVAC or restoration, whatever it is, like this is going to be a really, really good option because it's reliable. And one of the things that I love about Fenix is they are able, with their chips and the LEDs that they use and everything in their lights, to just get an insane amount of output with these things. It's just really, really impressive. So that is kind of the application that I expect to see from this light. Just really, really impressed with the initial aspects of it. It's been reliable. It's been just fun to use in the short period of time that I've been using it. I'm going to use it a lot longer, get a lot more time with it, and then do a full review and let you guys know what I don't like about it, things that could be different. But my initial impressions of the light are really, really fantastic. So just happy with it. Think it's going to be a great option. It is an update from the original UC35. This is the 2.0. It's got a shorter length to it, which is nice, and just all the aspects of this light are really, really cool. So that is the UC35, a quick overview, first look at it. Super impressed, guys. Fenix is just a fantastic brand. Definitely recommend checking them out. Check out this, the UC35. It's now available. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. You can also support me on Patreon, which I would super appreciate. And as always, guys, have an awesome day.